So this podcast, we've had a lot of people message about education, but barbershops, like telling us or asking us about the expectations from young barbers. So basically sort of pushing us to sort of educate the younger or the freshly trained barbers into sort of managing their expectations of what needs to happen when they go into a barbershop. So I'm on a lot of threads on Facebook where people are saying barbers are coming in expecting like top dollar for being freshly trained. So for us, I think it's our responsibility to educate the barbers who leave us into what's expected. You have to go in on a slightly lower rate.
Well, to be fair, we do do that, but there's a lot of education centres out there that to fill the courses are lying to barbers. So you get people to come and who are leaving on like 500 quid a week and that and stuff.
Well,
like that.
yeah, I mean, and it's the expectations of like wages, because it depends where you work. If you work in a barbershop in the village where the average haircut is £8 to £10, you can't earn £500 a week. There's not enough hairs getting cut. So it depends where you work and sort of...
what standard you're at as well.
Do you sort of get what I'm saying? So if you want to earn that much money, you have to go into a shop once you've learned your trade and you actually can do the cut that warrants a £40 price tag.
Exactly, yeah.
It's so vast, isn't it? Like the range of sort of shops, standards, education, blah, blah, blah. Like all those factors go into what to expect when you leave us, you know?
I think, prime example, Connor, who's just started with me.
Yeah.
He's come from a complete different background, changed his career. I've sat down with him and I've explained, I've said like, look, you're starting from the bottom, you're starting something completely new, you don't be expecting top dollar.
You've learned a lot from experience, haven't you?
I have. But just coming from like what some people expect, do you know what I mean?
This is going to help people take barbers into their shop, what you're saying.
Yeah, and I've said you need to work from the bottom up, do you know what I mean? I've put him on like a, not a great percentage, but I've put him on a percentage and he's doing all right, but by the time he gets to where I think he should be at, then he'll be earning an all right wage, you know what I mean? But you've got to be prepared to work from the bottom and up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can't expect to go from like, you know, a few months of education to then dropping into a job and
like I've had people leave me, right? So I keep in touch with people. I've had people leave me and I do give them like a look into it. So people have said, I've got a choice of like jobs, but really the wage isn't great. And I'm thinking, that's a bloody good wage for a freshly trained barber. You're obviously going to earn more money, but you know, you've got to start at the bottom. It's a trade at the end of the day.
Like you say, it depends on what barbershop you're working in and this and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
If you're working in a real high-end place or whatever, you know, you might be on a bit more or whatever. But I think people do need to understand when you've come out of there that you do need to work from the bottom up. In any trade, like anything, you'd have to start from the bottom and work your way up, wouldn't you? It's the same.
And people
so why
say,
do people
you can't train barbers in like 6, 8, 16 weeks and all that. Yeah, I can give them a solid foundation, but they're not going to be up to a standard where you can take them in the shop and they can just hold their own. Can I just say this one thing as well? And then in my head on the trolls and stuff online who troll me, and I say, come and see what I do, see what foundations they've got. Yeah. But can I just say to you, mate, which idiot who owns a shop can expect someone fresh out of training to be at the standard you've been when you've been doing it 15 years?
Exactly.
Are you absolutely off your head, mate? Yeah. Like, you are thick and it's you who are you are ruining the trade.
They've got no idea of the work that goes into somebody to get them just with a solid foundation for you to then work on. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what we're doing for you. Do you know what I mean? Like you're making it easier for that person to then take on. I mean, Connor's a prime example. You've done the hard work. And that's the worst bit. But Connor's come to me now, and I'm tweaking Connor now. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's coming out of that academy, you know, at the end of the day. And that's the best thing about it, and they're coming out with the best foundations ever.
Yeah.
Some are a little bit more better than others. Some, you know, takes them a little bit longer. But like for me, Connor and other people that I've had, I've not really, obviously I've had to put work into them, do you know what I mean, and put a bit of time in them, but nothing like that you would with somebody who's never held a pair of clippers, do you know what I mean?
Remember what I did for you?
Yeah, it's hard work, but that's hard work. And if you've got a little barbershop and you're trying to do that and you're stressing you're doing your work, and then you've got somebody here who's like, you know, chopping lumps out of people and you're trying to correct that, there's nothing worse than that.
Yeah.
But if you've got somebody with a solid foundation that's coming in, you know, you've trade tested them, this and that, and you're like, right, he's capable of this, this and this and this, no problem. Now I need to work on this, this and this. And then it's half the time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's half the time. And plus when they're coming out of that academy as well, with the way the academy works, is that they're getting a taste on how a barbershop's running anyway, because that place, it's not like a college as such.
It's a working
barbershop. So you're getting a feel, which I think we've touched on it before, that you're straight in a working environment. Do you know what I mean?
And for those opening academies, for freshly trained, like people who have never picked up scissors and clippers before, I can honestly say how we've got that set up in there is just the perfect environment. No, it's perfect in every way. Like people, we don't go, today you are learning a 4 back and sides. Today you are doing whatever sits in your chair.
Yeah.
Because that's how a barbershop runs.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for me and she, the pressure is on. Week 1 and 2, me and him look at each other and we're just tuned into each other. We know
you've got a perfect team there though, haven't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like perfect. We bounce off each other really well.
Wave. You know where people are at, every individual person.
Yeah.
You know where they're at, rather than everyone being on that same level. You're touching on everyone's personal levels.
Yeah.
Which is a really good thing, you know, like when I've been in, I'm like, wow, like, you know what everyone individual needs are.
It's not easy what we do, but it works. I would rather work a little bit harder on something to get it right than do the easy route.
Yeah.
So today we're doing this, today we're doing that. We do that in bite-sized lessons, but they'll say, who's that, Vikki? They're looking at the column, what's he have done? I'm like, I don't know, you're doing the consultation, you're the barber, and not me. So you need to find out what he's having done and how we're going to get there.
Asking questions, this, that,
Teaching them consultation, throwing out them questions. They'll say, well, I'll say, how do they wear the hair? I don't know. Here's how you start. Do you have a pattern? Do you not? Do you wear it back? Do you wear it forward? Do you have it shaved? Do you wear it? Do you have it scissors on the back and sides? They're like, well, they don't know what they haven't done. Well, let's get that out of them, what they haven't done.
Your client's not a barber at the end of the day, is he? So it's your job. A haircut, mate. How many times do you get that? What we're doing for you? Haircut.
And then you start your questioning.
You've got to start, then you've got to draw it out of them what they're getting, how they're actually wearing it.
I mean, Sammy, who works for you, she now works with me one day a week, and I'm mentoring her. And she's getting herself into the routine of training, which is a totally different job.
Yeah.
To working in a barbershop. You've got to have a gift to train. So anyway, she did a really good lesson on that because it happened to her in the shop. So she had someone who she couldn't get to the bottom of what they wanted, and they were changing things up, and she felt like really stressed out. So she put that into a session for the students to help them do that and draw out sort of what the client wanted. And one of the students said that's really helped us a lot, because I had someone in the shop, he's a level 3, he was working in the shop, who I nearly just said, mate, get out my chair. I don't know what you want, because you get some clients who are not very nice. And
but you can't really do that, can you?
Nobody was at that point because he couldn't get to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I love about our academy. We get a vast range of people, you know, like from kids. I make them do kids cuts.
Yeah, but
they've got to.
That's what I'm saying though. You kind of gear up
kids to
when you leave
men.
there you know what to expect when you go into a barbershop. You know
But we need to manage our expectations. But we need to educate barbershop owners, because I think they
expect too much, really, don't they? Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people like, you know, we can't even do that. Well, mate, he's only been cutting hair for like.
He's probably
2 months,
done
you know
it.
what I mean? Like,
he's covered everything,
you know what I mean?
But he needs to be doing it to learn how to do it better. You shouldn't
really be taking people on if you haven't got time. You know, like if you know someone's background, they've come out of SB or they've come out of college or wherever, you know, like if your expectations are too high, you shouldn't be taking them on anyway if you haven't got time to put in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you need to put, I would never expect somebody to come in and just
barbers. You can't get barbers because everybody wants their own shop. So you can't actually get the standard of barber you want because everyone who's at that standard now wants a shop. So you have to take on freshly trained barbers and you have to put time into them. Yeah, but I'm
saying you've got to put time into them, haven't you?
Yeah, you have. So a lot of people who messaged us, because the hype around the podcasts was huge. The amount of messages that we got was phenomenal. What people want us to cover. I mean, we're not the be all and end all of like business and whatever, but we've got a voice, so we're going to use it to help people.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was education, expectations from new barbers, and how to obtain work. That was another point that come up. So freshly trained barbers are asking, who've been to other colleges and things like that, how do we get work? So how would you tell a barber to get work? What would they have to do to get a job?
I think like you can send like obviously CVs in, can't you, and this and that, and you know, but I think the best way, I like to see somebody come in, do a few clients, do you know what I mean? So I think I would be geared up there if you put a CV into somewhere, you've met the boss of the shop or whatever, and just bring a few and just say, can I bring a few of my friends in, watches how I cut, kind of go about that way, you know what I mean? And I think that's probably the best way, because I can look at pictures and this and that and whatever, but you've got to get a feel of somebody, you've got to, do you know what I mean? And I think if you could spare that little bit of time and give someone a chance to bring a couple of friends in and watch them cut, have a bit of crack, you get a feel of somebody, and then you actually get to see the work as well, you know what I mean? So if you can kind of get, obviously, find out where you want to be, first of all, do you know what I mean? And
what then, sort of shop you want to be in.
Because it's got to be right for you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can kind of get high-end spicer kind of place where you're going to be charging 50 quids and whatever, and and then you work you down to your little village barbershop, like it's different environments to be in, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Different environments to be in. So
I think another thing is to maybe I say to the students, go and volunteer somewhere. There's a student I've got at the moment called Lucas, and I got tagged in something this morning. He's been going into this shop on his weekends. So he's from Scotland. Yep. He works here, like at the academy, and then he's going up and he's volunteering, and he's going in, and they like him. So I think because they like him and he's shown willing, they're going to put some time into him and maybe give him a job.
Even if you're there just like, I know, because you've got people like having like massive career changes and that, like, I know it's going to sound a bit thingy, but like even if you go in and just like sweep the floors and get to know the boys and kind of just being involved with the staff, like, I know some people don't like doing that because obviously some of these people are a bit older and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
But to have a career change,
to have a career change, you've got to start somewhere, do you know what I mean? So if you know where I'm coming from, don't you? Like,
you've got to be willing to start at the bottom.
Exactly.
That's the top and bottom of it. You need to be willing to start at the bottom. So,
I suppose it's just finding where you want to be and getting in and, doing the very basics, I suppose, and then getting in with the click and then going from there, isn't it? Bringing your friends in, chopping your mates, like. Talking
about chopping, our last podcast says you love choppers, right? So can I just tell people about these choppers? It's not a chopper. He loves motorbikes. And I was Sonny, you're saying choppers, and I was Sonny is saying to the mums, you want to see me dad's chopper, man? It's massive. And I'm
it's
like,
pretty bad, like.
Hey, can you say motorbike?
He actually said that. It's like he went to his mate's house, and I think it was you picked him up, didn't you? And
dying to see Ryan's chopper. Apparently, it's massive.
That's what he was saying. How embarrassing is that? Oh, anyway,
motorbikes. So it was education expectations from new barbers and how to obtain work. Another thing people want to know is, I don't know why, is music in the barbershop.
Oh, that's quite a good subject to talk
about. It is,
actually,
isn't it?
Because in here, obviously, you get We have I love me tunes like, and if it was,
I know that.
if I would just have like anything from punk to hardcore metal, but then I listen to like blues and I'm right across the board if I'm perfectly honest. But I do have
I tell you, like a bit of 90s piano house on a night in the house, don't you?
That's after a few gins and that like.
You were ruined.
But I have got a couple of playlists for the shop, and some of the lads do say like we've got to mix it up a bit. But I just like to, like if I've got so this is another thing about clientele. If I've got like 70-year-old Billy sitting there, and then I've got a 19-year-old kid, you know, you've got to look at your clientele, what's coming through the door. You know, like Billy there's not going to approve of, you know, jump and rave or something, is he? You know, like or death metal blasting in his lug, you know, like.
Who are you talking to over there?
I'm just talking to him because he's relating to like the music side, you know, like. But it's you've got a kind of my playlists are very just kind of. You don't mind that.
I've got a really cool playlist you need to listen to.
Easy listen to, but still enjoyable.
I'll tell you a good one because for me.
Can I just say though, but there is barbershops out there, which I'm not going to name, that are not bothered.
So like, say you've got your rap on. Like, you got your rap on. There's a kid there. I'm like, whoa. I'm like that all the time. Whoa, can we cut this? We've got kids in. Exactly.
So you've got like, you know, some real kind of hip hop going on and effing this and effing that, and there's a 9-year-old kid sitting there. It ain't good, is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And is that guy going to bring his son back? I don't think so. If that's what's getting blasted all the time.
Yeah.
So fair enough. And this is why it's going back to like the people kind of. Everything's about them, you know, like when we're talking about like the haircuts, not about the client. They don't give a shit. You've got to think about like your customers coming in and what they're sitting and listening to, you know, because you're working away, they're sitting there for half an hour, sometimes longer, an hour. Do you know, like they've got to sit there and listen to whatever you're playing, you know. So it's a big, for me, that's a big one. That like you've got to be careful with your tunes. Like,
well, mine,
you've got to be careful.
What'll happen is right in the academy when everyone's learning. So say we've got to do something, we need to concentrate on like the cutting program, and there's
more
like
background tunes there, isn't it? Like
stressful, hardcore music on. I cut it right, so I'll put like easy beats on. I always like an easy beat. The work to it, blah blah blah. On a Friday, if them easy beats are on, everyone's a bit flat, and I'm like, right, let's get these playlists on, and we change the music up, and everybody. I find as well. What I always say to them is you get faster when your music's on so you can cut in time to the music. You know, like, you know, stuff like that.
It is a massive thing. Like we normally do like on a Friday nights, late nights, and that obviously a lot of the kids have been in this and that, you know. We always have like a power hour where we're just kind of like.
That's what we're like.
We'll stick something on what's like pretty, you know what I mean, pretty gnarly and like, a bit more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like there's times and, you know, you've got to pick your right times and that and stuff. And like,
so
and
this
if there
new
is a
playlist, which you might like, it's so James Doyle, who was a student, he works for Brad Cowan, HBAD, and he's they've got a cool one. So they've got the Epically Tapered, which is the barbershop. Yeah, Epically Tapered Summer. They've got 2 epically tapered. One of them is more like the summer tunes. Oh God, it's so good.
We'll have to put some of that on.
So good, you'll love it. We put that on like if we want like upbeat, uplifting music. It takes you to summertime. And everybody seems to like that. So there's some really good playlists.
Write them down for us.
I'll write them down. And also, if you want, like I've made mine, but I don't think you might like mine.
What's that like? Madonna and that?
No.
Get on off it.
I have got one like that though. Some people do like my music.
Madonna, finger out on that.
Hey, what about Prince at me 40th though? That was the best thing he ever did for us.
Purple Rain's cool, like you kind of beat a bit Purple Rain.
Purple Rain, we had like the busker, didn't we?
That was midnight.
And down here, and they were like, Vicky's going to play it for you. And I felt like I was the only person in the room. It was the best song, and the busker played it for us. And I've got a picture, and I was
cool,
just, it was unreal. Thank you for that.
No, but tunes is a major thing in the shop, like, so I do.
It can change your mood, can't it?
Of course it can.
Yeah, and I find big barbers are like really creative people, so we are affected by music, you know, like the creative side of it, so whatever's playing can affect your mood.
definitely.
Creates the vibe.
But it's the same,
shop.
like, even if you haven't got kids in though, isn't it? Like I know, like even if you haven't got kids in the shop, like if you're working in the town even, you know, like you've still got to be careful, like, of what you play. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah, you do.
Because you get the older fellas in and that, they're not, you know, they're not going to feel.
Our students say, all the clients always say we play good music in the academy. Mm-hmm. And we do. That's
probably because you're paying notice of what you're playing and trying to cater for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, like the lads will go off and like, flipping out, I've heard this playlist like a million times. I'm like, but boys, like, we need to think about the guys, what's coming through the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a, like, well, let's do another playlist, but we'll just be careful of what we put on that playlist. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind, but we've got to think about the customers. You know, it's the customers. I think
it's cool. Like, if barbershops send us their playlists and we like exchange playlists.
Yeah.
Because it's barbershop. I think it will be. That'll be good to do that. Mm-hmm. Everybody who's got their own playlist, like, message us, and then we'll.
We're going back to education.
Oh, sorry.
Just because I'm on a one, I'm thinking. We were talking about doing a Patreon thing, weren't we?
Yes. Well, what I'm going to do is
that'd be cool.
Talking about teaching the wrong things at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people do education. Mm-hmm. Everyone's an educator now, which is fine because we all need educated at different levels within the barbershop. Mm-hmm. I always get, like, Alan Beek was running a session and I wanted some CPD, which is like, as a trainer, you need continual professional development. So I said, like, I like Alan. I find his work great. He's really creative. I said before. So I messaged him and I was like, have you got any spaces left on there? Like, me and Shay, I wanted to, like, come on that course. And he was like, oh, Vikki, I'm full. Surprises. He's always full. So the next one I'm going to do because I just think I still need inspiring and I still need education, but it's where you are to what you should go for. Yeah. So I get people come onto a fair day, you know this.
That's
so now I've got to ask questions. So people will say, I want to come on this fair day. People were turning up who can't clip rover comb. Mm-hmm. So when
you're finding that you're doing more than just
I'm teaching you everything here. Like, you should have
teaching a full haircut.
So now we've got a checklist.
Yeah.
Can you do this? Before you come on the fade day, if you can descend guards, can you, are you used to fade in different ways?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So the education that you receive. So as a beginner, probably I'm not even going to mince my words here. I would say beginner training, SB have nailed it.
Yeah.
We have nailed it. I would lay everything on the table. We are probably the best in the country at what we do. Mm-hmm. I don't care who challenges on that, but I believe that. Yeah. So for beginners, find where you want to be. For intermediate, there are a lot of people, but I find people go to education days and then come to me and say, well, they weren't explaining things right. I watched, but I couldn't take in what they were doing because
then they haven't got the understanding, have they?
Yes.
From the beginner side of it. Do you know what I mean?
But even that for intermediate, you know, like intermediate training, which is people who have been barbering a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's because everybody wants to be an educator, but they can't actually educate because it's a different job, like I've said. Mm-hmm. Education is totally different to barbering. So everybody's running education, and like what we've been talking about, you're getting shown things at the wrong time, or you haven't got the capability to understand what they're doing. So you've paid for a course in education and it's not for you. Like Alan Beek is for me because
70,000 followers or something on Instagram as well, and then they get sucked into that, so then that's the place to go.
Yeah.
And
then someone who can't barber properly or isn't experienced enough will go on there and they've wasted money.
Yeah.
So for me to go and do the Alan Beek training, for me it's perfect because it's going to inspire me, maybe teach us something I don't know, which it will because I learn from everyone. And just it'll be a great vibe and positive, a very positive person to be around. So that's right for me. So it's choosing where you want, what you want to learn, what level you're at, and finding the right educator.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Just because they're a good barber doesn't mean they're a good educator.
Yeah.
So helping people with education, I would say, look at them points, would you?
Yeah, 100%. Aye. because that's what a lot of people are doing. And I've heard it time and time again that I've been here, and it'll be some superstar in the barbering world, you know, and then you're like, well, what did you learn, mate? Well, I didn't really quite get how he was doing it, or this and that, you know, like, and I'm like, yeah, because it's too advanced for you. That's more for barbers who have been grafting in the industry for a good few years and just want to kind of kick on and learn the new tips and tricks and this and that, you know, like, so, yeah.
Which a lot of these online trolls,
I think a lot of people
on Facebook and stuff, they're so closed down to education because they think they know everything, and they actually don't. I've had people on courses who've been barbering 20 years and they're so stuck. They can't do it. They can't grasp the new concepts because they're so stuck in the ways. So like you say, it depends what shop you're in, where you're at. Do you want to learn it? Do you need to learn it? For me, I need to learn. I like learning. That's what I love to do. You know? So just because you've been barbering 20 years doesn't mean you're great either.
No, of course it doesn't.
Because if I just stuck where I am 25 years
stuck in the ways, you've got to progress. I mean, that's what you've
I'd still be doing bloody big back and sides down the colliery.
Exactly, yeah.
But that's not what I want to do. I want to be great at everything. So I learn, you know? So it's a bit of a funny one, education, isn't it?
It is, right?
So what we're going to do is we're going to still concentrate on beginner training. But I get asked to go all around the world. People see what I do, and I've had a lot of people from like Europe, France, will pay for you to come over, you run education. I forgot to tell you, Gio, WizKid, we're going to work with him. So we're going to meet somewhere. His team are going to deliver some education to us. And our team. And cool. Our team are going to deliver education to his team. So that's like inspiring. So we're going to swap. We're going to show them. They're going to show us. And I love him.
He's awesome, my God.
He's
such a nice guy. And he's like proper down to earth and just real.
He's just real. And he's very talented. Very inspiring as well.
Unbelievable, yeah.
He is. He's excellent. So that's a good way to get education out there, where you deliver to them, they deliver to you, and you just have a good time. And I like that.
That'd be cool.
I love that concept.
Swap knowledge.
Which you've got to, haven't you?
Of course you have.
Because obviously, like, there's the way that they cut is very sort of over in like Rotterdam, Amsterdam, things like that. They are a lot different to us. So
no, that'd be exciting.
It would be really good, wouldn't it?
That'd be good, yeah.
So the key to education is it's huge. 25 years in, I'm still learning. But for anyone looking for education, find out what level you're at, what training suits you, but most of all, the right educator as well. Because just because you're a good barber doesn't mean that you're a good educator. Fact. Fact.